again. Welcome back to Chats with Jack. I am Jack Talcott. And greetings, blessings, salutations, and love. Once again, welcome back to Chats with Jack. I am Jack Talcott, and it is Friday. It is Friday, and I've got these feelings of the Friday energy in me, even though, well, it's another day in the week, but I feel inspired today. I really do. I feel good. I'm excited again to get this started, and I'm truly wondering, what is today going to bring? The time has come. I bet Jack misses Jack in the Box. That used to be one of my favorite fast food places, believe it or not, but I am so glad I have changed. A new Mandela effect just happened that everyone is freaking out about. I'm excited to see what happens today. The topic today, it's a question. It's a question for us to consider, and I hope that folks may join me today, and maybe we can unpack some of these ideas together. I've certainly got my opinions, but this question, is humanity relevant? Is humanity relevant today, or is that a meaningless term? Does it have no bearing, no impact, no influence on the world today? I suggest it's the former, right? I suggest humanity is extremely relevant today, but humanity, well, that's something we'll unpack and get into a little bit today. In the thumbnail, surrender, a Tal quote from the past: surrender in the morning, accept the facts at noon, and rest with gratitude in the evening for a productive and healthy life with God. And if you consider the obvious, these words can be taken many different ways, but the truth is, a greater life is with God. A greater life is with God, and a love for truth reveals the way. It really is kind of simple when you break things down and you allow things to be simple, but you got to allow yourself to pause. That gets me into some ideas of, with this. In order to pause, you can't be in the midst of the conflict. You can't be in a battle to pause. You got to surrender. Even if it's just momentarily, you got to accept surrender so that rest can be with you. You can be with rest when you let go of the battles. You let go of the conflicts. You let go of the problems, and you just allow yourself to be with who you are. And who all of us are. We are the aspects of humanity that God has sent into the world at this time. And we're not done. We are just getting started, is in my opinions. Humanity is only relevant in the legal overlay. Hue is a color. Judges say a hue man is a monstrous shade of man. The legality systems, the systems of, it's all wordplay, man. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. God is the Word. The Word brings the truth. Holy cows. I am in a mood. I'm feeling actually extra chill, extra inspired. I'm going to open it up. I'm going to make the opportunity available right at the beginning. We'll see where the day goes. For those who do wish to bring your perspectives, include your respect, right? Respect, again, I get to judge. Is this going to be respectful? For those who bring respect, your perspectives, respect and your perspectives on the conversations, you're welcome to join. Feel free to hit the link and we will see where it goes. Not sure what exactly the plan is today. The the ideas I had regarding humanity, it's my feeling that humanity has been kind of lost sight. It's been put in the background for profits, right? From Google, besides just the generic all people in the world as far as the human race. When I'm talking about humanity and the relevance of humanity in this topic in the title today, I'm referring to the best qualities of being human, like kindness, compassion, empathy, understanding others. And if you look at that, the best qualities of being a human are actually the same qualities found in the Holy Spirit, right? Love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, self control. Those are what make being a human special. And that's with us all. The specialness of being human, it comes through being humane, being one with kindness and goodness. I had a consideration earlier today regarding an evil person. Now, I'm not going to cast stones or include any names, but there's been a number of characters who've been regular, recurring here in this Jack Talcott experience. And I won't say they're evil, but they're certainly not in line with me or goodness. Where my mind is going is the ability to change, right? I see people generically. It's real easy for us just to, in our minds and in our hearts, write someone off, right? Oh, they're a bad person. They're an evil person. There's no hope for them. They'll never change. I don't believe that anymore because I believe that even when an evil person, right, if there's a person who has a pattern of being evil, being cruel, when they pause and when the evil thoughts are removed from them, they're a person, they're a people, they're a man or a woman, just like you or me. We are all these things. We all have the capacity for goodness. We all have the capacity and potentiality for evil, to do wrong, to be cruel. But just because it happens, and it has happened in the past, doesn't mean it's going to continue that way. And this is where, in my mind, I have hope for even the likes of people like Donald Trump. And he's just one of many. There's many people already like him. There's others who are just totally against him. But he's not the only one. We've got many people alive in this world today. They're well known. They've got these reputations. They've got these agendas. They've got these patterns of being cruel and selfish, controlling, manipulative. Is there no hope for them? See, if there's no hope for someone like that, then is there hope for others? Because we're all in this boat together. Hey, my friend, thank you. Um, I I have written people off, but I do have a heart of forgiveness. That's something that I've found. That's something I found that I desire and I want to carry a heart of forgiveness. And the reality is, I think it's because I learned my past lessons. In my past, for many years, I carried unforgiveness in my heart. And the unforgiveness that I carried in my heart, while it was directed in one direction, that unforgiveness brought me problems and misery in many different aspects of my life. And that's why I'm trying to help. I'm hoping to share these ideas with anyone else out there, right? If you're carrying unforgiveness in your heart, I want to encourage you, let it go, right? in line with the thumbnail, surrendering, surrendering the unforgiveness, surrendering the bitterness, surrendering the judgment, accepting the facts. You know, sometimes we make mistakes, sometimes others make mistakes, sometimes those mistakes bring pain, and that pain causes, you know, we carry it. But if we can surrender the judgment and just accept that things have happened, we can move past the unforgiveness, because unforgiveness, it truly destroys us all. OTW, blessings to you. I haven't seen you in a bit. That's not true. I have. um, Today, in a conversation with others, I was reflecting on me and the patterns of me, who this Jack Talcott is, and who I've been. I'm still breaking some of the old habits of me, right? Trying to become more humane, because I believe the more humane that we are, the more kind and good and compassionate that we are, I believe there's more relevance. We bring more relevance into the world. But the old Jack, the Jack that I'm so familiar with and the people from the past are so familiar with, this Jack has honestly a desire to fight. You ever felt that for yourself? You ever just wanted to get into a fight? You want to just get into it, right? Um, Sometimes it's at an individual, sometimes it's just for that to get the aggression out. But a desire to fight, it can be good, right? It can be a good thing if used in the right way. A desire to fight for others, desire to fight for the weak, for the vulnerable, to really stand up in the face of injustice and be prepared to give it all, right? So that love can be shared. That is the purpose. Behind all of our desires to fight, behind my, let me not cast that thought too broadly. In my past, many of my desires to fight, two things drove it. It's either hate, hate and anger, or love. And the reality is, behind every hate and every anger, it was a distortion of something that I loved, right? If I felt I hated something or I was angry at something, it's because in my mind, I was protecting something else, something that I loved, something that I cared about. Sometimes it was me, more often it was fighting for others, right? Because the reality is, I am a lover, man. I am a lover, not a fighter. I am. I would so much rather just be with peace and joy and laughter and fun. But I'm sure not opposed to getting down and getting into the mud, right? Wrestling around, throwing things around. I used to do the physical fighting when I was younger, but I'm no spring chicken anymore. I'm not a dummy. I realize my body's changing and things aren't the same way as they used to be. But by God's grace, this is how I think it's naturally we're designed this way. We grow in our intellect, right? The experience, time around the sun, right? Spend more years here on earth and things change. Your perspective changes as you experience more things and more time. Your perspective changes, and really the lesson I've learned is to truly slow down, to slow myself down so that I don't have such an urgent desire to fight, an urgent desire to get in and mix it up. Because if we're constantly fighting, if we're constantly in a battle, either looking for a battle or tending to a battle, involved in a battle or cleaning up after a battle, we're not really living the best life that we can. And what I had to realize is, behind my desire to fight, believe there's a little self-hate, right? Because if I'm willing to allow myself to be hurt, to be destroyed just for an idea, that's not really self-love. And love is what it's about. We're here to love the life we've been given and to really create the life we've been given into one that we can love. The reality is, though, who decides what you can love? You do. Can you love the life you're living? I didn't think I could. In my earlier years, I thought there were too many reasons that I couldn't love the life I was living. I mean, I was happy for those who could, right? The people who came from the nice, sheltered, leave it to beaver type families, mom and dad in the house and always enough money and all of that. I thought those people could have a life they can love. The people who have held all the relationships, they've got the toys, they've got the travel, they've got the reputation. I thought those people, they can love the life they're living. But I didn't think a guy like me could love the life I was living until I did. You ever done that? Think you can't do something until you see yourself do it? I've got, off the top of my head, I can't think of a lot of examples, but I know that's happened many times with me. I know that I've proven myself wrong in so many things, uh, such as learning how to love the life I'm living. To love the life I'm living, guess what I had to do? I had to make peace with me. I had to stop fighting me, stop denying me. I had to realize I am a big part of this life that I'm living. And if I want to enjoy my life, guess who I got to take care of first? All of us do. We got to learn how to care for that face and the child we see in the mirror, regardless of how old we get. I do. I don't see it. I don't see my thoughts and my memories like visions, but I sense. And when I look in the mirror for a long time, I didn't like what I saw. I saw a man who was getting out of shape and worked hard and didn't have a lot to show for it. And I saw this kid in the mirror who never really figured it out. I saw a kid who tried hard but was just never quite good enough. And that's how I was. I never felt good enough. But what does that mean? How do you decide if you're good enough compared to what? I mean, what's the context? What are we evaluating? Who's to judge? It took me a while, but once I started pausing, slowing myself down, learning how, right? Training myself, retraining my mind to slow down, to stop being so anxious, stop being so adversarial, stop being so conflicted. I learned how, and I trained myself how to slow my mind down. And I tell you what, while I was doing it, I did not understand the importance of what I was doing. I wasn't quite clear on what the value or the results would be, but I felt like it was the right direction for me. And it's in line with everything that I was picking up as far as meditation and learning how to be more mindful, to be more at peace. It is the path. Brothers and sisters, I've mentioned this before, but one of the greatest symptoms, the most visible, not visible because it's unseen, the most obvious symptom of inner conflicts, it's going to be the activity of your mind. And if you've got an overactive mind, if your mind keeps you up at night, you wake up and you're just caught up in anxiousness or urgency or anger or depression. If you wake up and you go to bed with the mind that's just driving you nuts, it's time to change because you might be nuts. Seriously, it is a sign of insanity. It's not, I mean, this isn't what the medical professionals are going to say or the licensed experts. This is just Jack's interpretation. If you got the monkey mind syndrome, right, it's a sign of insanity. You might be a little delusional, and it's okay. It's normal. It's normal in this world today to be insane and to be delusional. Matter of fact, it might be the way you got to be in order to fit in. Because when I was insane with my monkey mind and the delusions and the overactive mind chatter, guess what? I fit in. I fit in with the world. I fit in with the work and family and society. And I bought into it all. I bought into the games of politics, economics. I didn't understand religions. I saw there was a lot of them to choose from, but I didn't really pick one. This is an interesting perspective, Andy. Peacefully protesting is exactly what they want us to do. I can give you partial on that. They don't want us to protest. They want us just to comply and to buy in, whoever they is. Words are meaningless when the people intended to hear them don't care. Andy, that is exactly true. That's what I've been learning kind of the hard way. I feel I've got a lot of things to say, right? I feel that the things I say can really help some people. But if the people I'm speaking to, if they don't care to hear, their mind is already made up. Like many of my regular guests, their mind is already made up. If they don't care, the words I say are meaningless. No matter what I say, it doesn't matter because the mind is closed. And this is where I bring, it's like, what I'm pointing at with my words on this, the open mind, the closed mind, it's not something we can visibly see. All that we can see is the symptoms. We can see people's reactions or their ignorance if they ignore and they don't acknowledge what's being said. We can't actually see the blocks that they have. But the reality is, God has given us all free will. And the free will that we have, the choice is really to pay attention or to ignore. Every moment. Every moment we can pay attention or we can ignore whatever is around us. But even that's not always a choice. Often it's just, it's a reaction. Hey, it is sometimes it's okay to be insane, but it's not something you want to do every day. And really, my definition of insane and delusional for me, for sure, it's the belief in things that are not real. And that is that is even a big statement, because what is real? Is the government real? Is it? Or is it just a concept and an idea? Are the concepts and ideas, are those real? I mean, to some degree, they are. Andy, I appreciate that. Yeah, not fighting back. That is exactly what is wanted. The oppressors, they don't want fight. They want compliance. They want people to acquiesce. They want people to go along to get along, right? Regarding some of this nonsense between ICE and the citizens, it's like, didn't you learn your lesson? I've heard some of the agents say, speaking to some of the civilians, didn't you learn a lesson? You got to obey, right? You better obey. You better comply, or what is it? Fuck around, find out, they say. Yeah. not fighting back is what the oppressor wants. Why? They win. And that is what's going on in this world, man. I believe the time is happening that everyone knows that Trump is not Elvis. They don't even have to look. Not everyone knows that. Not, I would say not everyone knows that, because I don't know everyone. And I don't know who knows what. I just know what I know. And what I know is that God is good. Oh, God is so good, man. God is the goodness that brings the goodness. God is the greatness that brings the goodness. And we're like in this, if you look at your life as what it is, who we are, we're in our own, create your own reality. It's a, it's a real life action game. I got you. I understood that. Watch Elvis for Trump. Hey, we've got a guest I haven't seen for a while, but a young man I do enjoy. Welcome, John. How have you been, bro?
How you doing, Jack?
Oh, that looks beautiful, man. Here, let me bring you up. Oh, I
Yeah,
know.
I meant to hop on a minute ago, and the sun just creeped behind a cloud. It was like shining right at the equator, right before it went behind the horizon. I mean the horizon, not the equator. You know what I mean?
I got you. I got you.
Yeah, missed it by a couple minutes there. My fault.
No, that is beautiful, though, man. We, Mother Earth, Mother Earth, she is so gorgeous.
Very much. Hard to disagree there. Mother Gaia is quite a goddess of sorts.
Well, yes, and using that idea right there, wouldn't it be wonderful if mankind just aligned with that? Aligned with Mother Earth, right?
But then they'd call you a theosophist, a new age occultist, Blavatsky lover.
I get,
So a Gaia worshiper, a Earth worshiper.
yep. Oh, that's right. And that's paganism or something,
Right,
isn't it?
right, exactly. That's a cult. That's dark occult paganism. So
Isn't that crazy? I mean, how can you not love nature? And and how can these religious characters, how can they shame people for loving nature? And what you're saying, Sean, I get accused of that anyway. So why not, man? Why not? There we go. Ryan Johnson, Jack is so crazy. Somewhat. But dude, it does look beautiful there.
yeah, I won't say that I don't know what God is, but it's not on this computer. But I will say I think I know what God is, and it's not on this computer. Yeah, shout out to Mr. Landry there. But I think not to cast any stones in anybody, but people who spend all their time just doing streams about certain people, and it's like, come on, there's got to be something better to do with your time. I mean, it's a little it's concerning, and it's concerning for their well-being. People, like, people are worried, concerned for their mental health and their well-being. And I don't know about you, but I start to wonder if these certain people in question are actually making controlled opposition accounts of themselves to go against themselves, um, to slay demons, quote unquote, by their channel names. And I wonder if they're actually the ones who have those accounts to pretend like they're their adversaries, just so that they can hear what they're at, what the people who oppose them sound like in their comments, so they can kind of control both sides. I don't know if you're following me here. But
It's vague and I might be misinterpreting, but I think I got you.
yeah, well, there's certain people who call themselves demon slayers, and I just
Mhm.
wonder. Someone kind of piqued my. It was someone who brought that up. It was actually on, I think it's on DJM's channel or something. someone brought up, like, I think that might actually be the same person who's claiming to oppose said person. They might actually be the one who owns that account. And it got me thinking, like, that would be a genius, you know, kind of in the same way that the so-called controllers create these counter, you know, I was watching a video from Rebel News, right, just earlier, and they were approaching Larry Fink at WEF in Davos. And, you know, the question is, like, how are these people allowed to just, you know what I mean? It's kind of like Luke Radowski from We Are Change when he goes up to Jacob Rothschild and Henry Kissinger and Ben Bernanke, you know, the head of the, well, former head, I think, right, of the Fed, of the Federal Reserve. And how are these people allowed to just approach these people? How do they even get the intel to? Of course, it's a simple answer when you're aware of controlled opposition and that whole topic, right? InfoWars, you know, We Are Change, Press for Truth, all these big names that you know, have very large followings, very large channels, and don't seem to really deal with the same shadow banning and censoring that a lot of other people, saying the same thing with hundreds of subscribers while they have their hundreds of thousands or millions of subscribers, you know. It makes you wonder, you know, and the answer is obvious again when you look into that whole topic of controlled opposition. And again, you did a good job with Truth or Cop recently of covering some of those Civil War LARPers, as I you know, pointed out there in your comments. But yeah, I think it's very obvious when you have the eyes to see and the simple discernment, spiritual discernment, to see the forest for the trees with these optics in play, these COINTELPRO counterintelligence program operatives that go back probably before, you know, they go back far before the founding of COINTELPRO and Black Panthers and all that, you know, Civil War movement. Civil rights movement. And, you know, I'm sure this is stuff that goes back who knows how far, before Christ. So
yes, and the downside, though, with the patterns of controlled opposition and well, they're true tactics of war, it does make it more challenging to really know what is true. Couple of questions. Someone asked from the chat, are you on the roof?
I am on the roof. Yes. Yes. The second story. So I guess that would mean I'm on the third story.
Hey, that's beautiful, man. I love
quite a view from up here.
It is. It's
beautiful. And in a little bit, when it gets a little darker, you'll see the laser that goes all the way. You can apparently see it from space, from the Seminole Hollywood Hard Rock Hotel and Casino, which is the only guitar-shaped hotel, I think, in the world, supposedly here on Hollywood, Florida. Not to be confused, of course, with Hollywood, California. But yeah, it's a laser that you can see it. I mean, talk about light pollution. Holy crap. You can see it from everywhere, 360 around, all the way probably down to, I don't know about Miami, but you can see it pretty far. I mean, from like the beach. So I'm not that far. We're like, you know, I'm 10 miles, not even 10 miles, 5-10 miles from there. So
interesting.
But
I had not heard of that. And I've never been. Yeah, I
never been to Florida?
I've been to Florida, Orlando, I think.
Oh, okay. Never been to South Florida. Wow. So never been to Lauderdale, never been to Miami.
No.
Wow, never been to the Keys.
I have not. Not yet.
Well, you're young. You're a young pup yet, so you know, you got time. Maybe not as young as myself, but
right.
You know.
Hey,
still plenty of time, Jack. Plenty of time. God willing, by God's grace.
Amen. I agree. And bless you. Thank you. Coming from you, Sean, it had to give me a chuckle. I'm not too old yet.
Yeah, man. Not by any means.
Hey, so what do you think of this, right? Regarding controlled opposition. And I think I was following the other one.
Of course, Andy would say something like that. That's an Andy thing to say. It's possible. I mean, look, I've never met, if we're talking about the same Tommy here, Illuminati, yep. again, the name Illumitami, right? I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if it's an AI, Illuminati AI, you know? Illuminati AI.
He's
Yeah.
controlled opposition. Although I understand we've got, well, they could be actors as well. There's
Yeah, well,
witnesses.
you start looking into that's a whole rabbit hole right there. Actor-based reality. Do you know about that, Jack?
Act, please explain.
Okay, well, I'll give you an example. Uh, you got one in the chat, right? Elvis is Trump, right? Elvis is Trump is Lucifer, or Elvis is Lucifer is Trump. It's all the same, it's all the same character. Or how about Andrew Tate is Anton LaVey, the founder of the Church of Satan, or Anton LaVey's wife or whatever she was, right? Zena LaVey is Taylor Swift, right? This whole theory, this concept that there are these there's this, whether you want to call it cloning, copying of these souls, these well, not souls, but these, they're just recycling these archetypes, these vessels, and kind of it's a very interesting, conscious X would be one of the people really at the head of that whole theory. And then you got, fittest flat earther, Tyler Hanson's kind of big in that too. And then yeah, there's a lot of people who are big into that whole theory, but it's an interesting thing to ponder. And the one problem, of course, with it is it's a hard thing to prove. But you could argue that most quote unquote conspiracy theories are hard to prove.
Hmm.
And of course, you could argue that gematria would, people who maybe aren't so into the research with that topic would argue that it's all just correlation, not causation. You're kind of just attributing numbers to words, and words to letters, and coming up with these confirmation bias.
Right.
What people who study gematria would call conspiracy reality, but what, of course, the exoteric people who don't study it would call conspiracy theory. But I digress. I'm rambling. I think my point, though, is that there are ways to prove some of these things that are a little more concrete than maybe saying, this guy has the same facial markings as this guy. Elvis and Trump have the same freckles, so they're the same person and they look the same. It's an interesting theory. Look, I don't. It's possible. I wouldn't be surprised if Elvis is Trump, is Lucifer. Yeah, anything's possible. It's a very strange world. So
that is what I've come to realize.
I know the truth is stranger than fiction, Jack. I do know that. So
that exactly. I've known that since I was young, but I didn't realize to what extent the truth is truly far more wild than fiction.
Yeah.
And in my path regarding, I don't know what my past opinion might have been for the conspiracy theories. I don't know if I ever gave them much attention. I might think back on that later. But the more I started looking into history and some of the tactics that the governments and crime syndicates have been using, not just crime syndicates, the corporations too. Conspiracies are real, right? They're not theories. Conspiracies exist when people get together and they conspire in secrecy, right? For the purposes of selfish control, especially. It's real. So I guess the point is my mind started opening. And so now I'm a lot more likely to allow something to be true, right? In my mind. Right. Maybe it is true. And unless I know for sure that I can't prove it wrong, I allow it to be true, at least for consideration.
Yeah, I mean, again, I'm sure you're aware that the whole terminology conspiracy theory goes back to the Warren report around JFK and people who were questioning the details around JFK's supposed alleged assassination. I'm not saying I don't believe it. I'm saying I don't know. I'm 50-50, Jack. On JFK assassination, I'm 50-50. Really. I'm pretty much 50-50 on most so-called popular conspiracy theories, whether it's JFK, Charlie Kirk being dead or alive. I do know that the Trump, I know that the Trump fiasco with his ear, now that I know is fake. I mean, you got to just be an idiot to know, people don't just grow back ears. It's just, it doesn't happen, you don't grow back. I would know. I would know. I had my ear actually partially bitten off by canines when I was younger doing some activity that I shouldn't have been doing, engaged with people that people that I shouldn't have been engaged with. Wrong place, wrong people, wrong time. People, places, and things, right? And I did not have the people, places, and things in order at the time. So that was a teenager, so different times.
Well, so it gave you that experience so that when you see other things in the world, you've got a perspective that maybe others don't.
Right.
Because the Trump thing, at this point, I don't know, right? I'll lean towards the side that maybe it was. Maybe he did just get grazed. I don't know. To me, that's kind of a more minor one, but in the bigger picture, go ahead.
No, go ahead. I was just going to bring up that the part, something in the Bible there where it says, where it talks about, I'm probably butcher it because I don't exactly remember. I can't quote it, but yeah, nobody grows back ears like Sean. It's true. I've seen it. The doctor told me his ears are amazing, incredible ears, amazing, incredible earlobes. The cartilage is incredible, incredible ears. Yeah. Holy shit.
I don't know where you were going. I kind of forgot.
There's something in the Bible about an ear related to a beast with a great beast with a wound to the ear or something. Not to be confused with the head wound. I don't know if you've ever seen Jurassic Liars on YouTube, Mr. Garrow, but yeah, you've never heard that about the ear wound in the Bible? Recall. Someone might have to help me out there in the comment section because I'm rusty on my biblical scripture context. Snapper, right. you got me, dude. You know what I'm talking about? Somebody? Nobody?
I don't know. I might be able to look it up, but biblical. Type.
I'm looking it up. Let me see.
Oh, where Simon Peter cut off the ear of Malchus when they came to get Jesus?
Is that what it was? Simon Peter cut off the ear of who?
Cut off the ear of one of the guards who was coming to get Jesus.
Oh, is that what it was? I don't know. I don't know why I thought it had something to do with not Cyrus. Is Cyrus in the Bible, by the way? You know how a lot of people compare Cyrus to Trump? Cyrus that destroyed Babylon, essentially.
Holy
King God. Cyrus. Is he in the Bible?
I think so. This is. Are you thinking of Revelation and the head wound?
Maybe I am. Maybe I'm confusing it with the head wound, actually. I've been listening to Jurassic, I guess, too much lately, because he has so many interesting connections, man. I don't know how he finds them. Like how Clinton was born exactly however many days after, or however many years after Elvis, like 9 years to the day after Elvis, or something like that. He finds all these crazy connections. And Elvis was one of many Mr. 42s, and Clinton was President 42, and all this crazy shit. There's just so many weird connections that, like, you can call them synchronicities, you can call them proof of conspiracy, but the one thing you can say for sure is they're proof of something really, really bizarre in this world that we just can't explain. We just don't know I don't want to call it simulation because I don't tend to resonate with that as much as just I don't know. I call myself an I don't know, or that's my, when people ask me what my my label is for whatever it is, religion, politics, diet, whatever, I don't know. I don't know. I'm very pretty freegan about it all. Although I am vegetarian at the moment, and I'm loving it, man. I'm loving it. It's great. It's a great way to clear out all that negative negative energy from the toxic animal carcass from these slaughterhouses. Terrible.
Mhm.
Just awful. Because when you eat suffering, you suffer, right? So
That's what I've come to accept for myself. Yeah. Um, it
you are
makes
what you
sense.
eat.
Yeah, we really are. And we are what we eat. What we eat actually becomes us. And
Yeah, and I think it's, they've come up with these ways to like, oh, you're just a lazy, you're a vegetable, right? They made that into like couch potato is another one, but you're a lazy, you're like a vegetable, and it's like another way of saying you're like mush for brains, as opposed to you're a suffering pig, a butchered pig or something. I'd much rather be a vegetable than a pig. No shame to any any roadkill eaters in our community.
right,
But
right. Snafu. What do you call a vegetarian with diarrhea? Salad shooters.
salad shooters. Wow, man, that's unusual, man.
I
Uh,
had not. I
Snafu
had not.
dropping some humor in the chat. I'm enjoying that.
He is. Snafu actually seems like he's in a decent energy today. Hopefully he's doing well. Um,
Yeah, I
dang,
kind of thought that I would spark a little inspiration of people to jump on the panel. I didn't think I would it would come turn into one of these, you know, one-on-one conversations, but I enjoy it. I appreciate it. But I was hoping I would start the crazy train, so to speak. But maybe I didn't bring enough crazy energy. Maybe I'm a little bit too calm and centered and balanced today. So,
that could be it. Um,
and there's a little wind here, so let me know if I should mute up.
no, you're doing good, man. It does look
Okay.
beautiful there, though. And
Yeah,
so
it's
you said
amazing.
there's a laser you can see after the light
Yeah, let
goes
me
down
see.
more?
Yeah, it's not. It looks like they didn't turn it on yet. Probably another 10, 20 minutes, maybe.
Interesting.
Yeah, once it gets dark. Yeah, it's actually when I tried to get a job there at the Hard Rock, I got to. It didn't work out. Long story short, but I got to see I wandered around and I got to see the room that actually where all the electronics are that power the laser, and it's just this giant like warehouse room in the middle of the Hard Rock, set off aside from like the casino and all that, where yeah, it looks like they're powering some. It looks like a data center, like almost or something. Um,
Mm.
but yeah, I'm really concerned. They're building something really close to here down the street that looks like it might be a data center, and I'm actually very concerned that that might be what it is under the guise of I don't know what they're saying it is, but they're kind of building these high walls around it, and I'm really concerned. I want to kind of look into it, but I don't exactly know how to. Like, what do you look into? I mean, I guess I could go over there and just kind of nose around, poke my head around, and see what it is. But I know if that is what the case, then everyone's about to start paying a lot more for water bills, electric bills, and prepare to have polluted water, and probably starve our water a little bit. Because what a lot of people are saying where these data centers are popping up is, aside from the water and electric bills, oh my gosh, are you serious? I don't know how she got up here. Wow. I don't know how she got up here, but wow,
Oh,
she
how
heard me
cute.
talking.
She's beautiful.
Um, yeah, they start to have water issues. The lakes start to run dry.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, that is one of the biggest, I think, issues that the people are dealing with. We the people are looking at right now, as far as the optics around our survivability and our sustainability long term. I think they
Well,
have no concern for us. And when I say they, I mean I don't even think I'm talking about oligarchs. I'm talking about whoever's avataring the oligarchs. Fallen beings, whatever. I think they're trying to make this place inhabitable for them. Hence the chemtrails, hence the toxic everything, air, food, water, etc. And of course the transhumanism, etc., etc.
Well, and this brings up a few of the questions and ideas that I kind of want to unpack today regarding these things, because I agree. Uh, the intelligence, the force, whatever is behind these corporate agendas, right? Bringing in a data center, sucking up the resources, changing the energy rates for everyone around, and all of these things are real life. And these corporations and the path it is, we are battling against humanity. Humanity is battling itself. And so it comes down to, is humanity relevant? Or are we just in the way of the corporations?
Yeah, I mean it's scary. It's scary times. I will say it's probably not the first time that history repeats. And oh, that is not a good idea, Amber. Don't do that, dude. History repeats. It's just a slightly different version and flavor of what's already happened before. I think that there's probably something similar to a modern day Library of Alexandria event kind of coming up and maybe Library of Alexandria was actually a digital, I've said this before, Tartarian type of, just a reset of, maybe they had internet then, I don't know, but they reset everything kind of like a Fahrenheit 451 deal, book burning. And I mean, we've seen that already with the Amazon book burnings. And, it's pretty hard to find there's a lot of books that are really hard to find, really hard to come by. More so than your Behold the Pale Horse, Bill Cooper. Like there are some really good books that you really can't find anymore. It just goes to show the type of power that they have over the control, narrative control. It's crazy. But yeah, I think there's something coming like that. Again, I mean, Event 201 was something that was a prelude to Convid 1984, in the same way that I think Cyber Polygon was a prelude to what we have seen it in a lot of things. If you heard about what happened in Vietnam, where they wiped out tens of thousands of bank accounts, supposedly. I think it was Vietnam.
Recently, right? Yeah.
Yeah, not too long ago. That's just one example. I mean, last year, I think it was, or was it last year or the year before? I mean, it just happened again too recently with the Verizon outages. But last year, I think it was on 2/22 on February 22nd, which is for a reason. When you know that World Economic Forum equals 222 and Order Out of Chaos equals 222 and Wuhan coronavirus equals 222, et cetera, et cetera. I mean, yeah, there's something coming. I think on a more large scale, widespread. I won't call it global. I'll call it worldwide. A grid down kind of scenario. And that's why I haven't bothered but to upload another video since that What You're Gonna Do When the Grid Goes Down song I posted on Pineal Power Podcast, because I mean it's still ever relevant. It's coming, it's just a matter of when. Is it going to be 2030? I mean, it could be farther than that. I don't know, but I do think it's going to happen before 2030. I think it may be like next year, but later next year. But the question is, what are we going to do? Like, what are we going to do when millions, possibly tens, maybe hundreds of millions of people are without power? I mean, and even you could say this weekend it's coming, with this storm coming. There's going to be there's going to be millions of people, most likely without power, mostly, especially in the Northeast. This storm sounds like another one of those, man-made superstorms, Frankenstorms,
Yeah. It's certainly being hyped up and talked about. That's for sure.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure people remember Hurricane Sandy, the first storm that they ever called a superstorm. They also called it a Frankenstorm. You got to wonder when they're telling you that, what was Frankenstein? It was a man-made monster, right? So they tell you what it is if you just think about it for a second. So yeah, I forget what they're calling this storm, but I have a feeling you're gonna get it if you're in Baltimore, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
they're
have you looked at the forecast at all by any chance?
the one I heard, they're predicting about 15 or 16 inches of snow here.
Holy shit, man.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's
right.
crazy.
It is
So a
crazy.
guaranteed foot plus.
Probably.
Crazy.
I know the forecast, the temperature's supposed to be pretty cold as well. So if it does snow, it looks like it'll stick around for a little while.
Yeah, I wouldn't know about that life. I've always been in the tropics, so like the one time I think that I can, well, when I was a baby, I think I went up to Ohio, but I was too young. I was literally a baby. But other than that, when I was on Colorado a few years ago, it was not the time of year where I think there was some snow like on the ground that was melting from before we had gotten there. There was some weather like that, but other than that, I've seen fake snow. I've never really. I think I still have not really seen. I haven't had snow falling on me. Like I haven't had the real snow effect. It's crazy. All these 33
Really?
years. It's wild.
Well, you're still young, Sean. There's
Yeah,
a chance.
I'm young yet. Exactly. Thank you.
Hey,
I got time.
well,
I'm not exactly like, oh, I gotta see snow. I gotta see a blizzard before I gotta be stuck in a blizzard before I go. I have to make sure
mhm.
I saw this video recently where these guys, it looked real. It didn't look like AI, but their cars were completely covered in snow at their
Yeah.
house, and they dug a tunnel out in the snow to get to their car, and they were just like chilling in their car. This guy's taking a camera and walking through this man-made, like carved out snow tunnel to get to their car, and I just would never. I've never seen anything like that before in real life. I can't imagine what that's like, man.
Yeah. Yep. Hey, Sean, pause for just a moment. Welcome back to you, Colleen. Good to
Thank
see
you.
you again.
Thanks for
Appreciate
welcoming me, Jack. I really appreciate you having me in your show, since you don't promote hate or any kind of, it's that part of you. I really respect and admire that about you, that you
Thank
don't
you.
promote hate. What you're talking about, how people have gone, humanity has just gone out of control. I'm not, you guys are talking about just like politics and stuff, but I'm talking about people just on the internet, or people in your real life, just how ugly they have gotten. Just me being on your show yesterday and accidentally, I had the camera on, and usually I don't even watch those channels, but somebody told me that they're making all this content about me. I don't even like go to their channels, and the abuse and the hate. It's so comical. Like, they make content out of this, Jack. I don't understand it. I don't understand humanity. It's so ugly. And these are the ones who are saying that they're going to be, that we're the demons. But aren't they the demons if they're the ones who are acting so ugly?
Collie, it's interesting you mentioned that, because I don't know if you heard Sean earlier. He was just referring to some of these characters and the demons, and posing some questions about what's behind them, and where they coming from.
It's worse than like mocking me for the way I look, my race, my age. You know,
Right.
I'm 52 years old. A lot of these people on the internet don't even want to say their age, don't want to show their faces, don't even want to get their voices heard. But
Yeah.
yet, they have so much to say about me, the way that I look, and my lifestyle. It is just, it's mind boggling, Jack. Like, really, uh,
Well,
will they be peace on earth? Like, really, Jack? Like, what do you think? Is it going to improve? Is there going to be a shift?
actually, that's a perfect segue. I want to welcome as well, Dominic. Welcome back to you as well. Glad to see you again.
Hello, how's it going?
Feeling truly blessed. Truly.
Great. I'm
If
doing good as well.
good. Hey, you look like you shaved. Is that what happened? Did
Oh
you
yeah, I did.
you
Yeah.
trimmed up, changed the look a little bit? Looking well, my friend. And regarding what Collie was just kind of talking about, it is the stream title today. The question, and I do want us to kind of dig into this idea a little bit. The question, is humanity relevant? right? Or have we lost? Have we gone so far that there's no coming back? I don't believe that's the case. How about you guys? What do you think?
Well, I would say that humanity has already been driven pretty far. If you look at the Native American traditions like the Navajo, they're gonna tell you that we were once beings of air or spiritual beings who existed. We didn't need bodies. We basically lived in the clouds, and we were basically in a state of perfect balance with the world. But somewhere along the way, a hijacking force basically found a way to contain the spiritual beings in this flesh and blood body. So it's already happened, right? It's just a matter of how much further are we going to get pushed down this spiritual ladder.
What you said, they found a way to contain the spiritual being. Now, what came to my mind is the only way the spirit can be bound or limited is from within. So they found a way to convince humanity to limit their spiritual beingness, to limit our divinity. I think that's really what's, I forgot to welcome out Ashton too. Sorry about that. Didn't mean to be rude. The spiritual quality, if we consider ourselves to be truly multidimensional and with power of free will, the only way our spirit can be limited is if we choose to believe small, choose to think small. And I honestly think small thinking, that's been part of the agenda, whether it's been an intentional choice or, just kind of somewhere along the way.
And nowadays, I would say that small thinking manifests itself in the form of things like transhumanism, people afraid of dying. They want to transcend death. So they want to become a literal cancer on the earth. Because that's what a cancer does. It's a cell that realizes that the body is doing something that's not good for it. So it wants to go against the body. And so it wants to live forever at the body's expense. That's exactly what these transhumanists want to do. They want to be that they don't want to die because they think it's not good for them. So they want to transcend matter into a digital space at the Earth's expense. There's a lot of resources are required.
That topic. I saw a headline or heard something recently about that some of these billionaires, right, they're spending a lot of money trying to figure out how to escape death, right? And if that means becoming one with the machines, some of them are willing to do that. But it sacrifices the potential of humanity. And I'm convinced, I
But
really
I'm
am.
sorry to interrupt, but don't you think
No, please.
humanity is already merged with technology, just what we're doing now and how people hide behind the screen and they're using AI to be something they're not?
Yeah, it progressively gets worse as time goes on, but it's just a matter of on the individual level, are you going to accept it or not? And we do have that choice. They like to make it seem like it's hopeless and that this merging is inevitable or that the destruction of humanity is inevitable, and it's not. But what's inevitable is that likely the systems that control people will.
Lost your sound.
Yeah, I mute. I don't know. My mic's been acting weird. I think I got to get a new one. But I was saying it's inevitable that these systems will end rather than continue to contain us, because Essentially what these systems are built to do is try and contain nature itself, and it's an impossible battle.
It is. The impossible battle. I mean, maybe off from where you were at, but this impossible battle within me, and I think within many of us, we have a desire to fight. Maybe not everyone does, but it seems to me like that might be a natural part of life, a desire to fight in order to overcome, because that is what life brings, right?
Well, the way I see it, and the reason I call it an impossible battle is, you can think of us like fish or birds, and these people are fish or birds who reject the air they fly in or the water that they swim in, and they're trying to fight this. And it's like, how do you do that? You can't. If you do somehow actually destroy that, all you're going to do is destroy yourself in the process.
That's it. That is true. This comment, absent from the body, present with the Lord, makes death appear comforting.
Maybe
However,
death is comforting. I feel like the society makes death look very morbid and ugly, but it should be embraced. It's a new beginning from not coming back here, because a lot of people could misunderstand that. But maybe there's so many different other realms. It's just how you have lived your life here, how your addictions, relationships, attachments. When you let go of all of that, you don't come back here. That's my version. But again, I could be wrong, because nobody has come back alive from the dead, not that we know of. Because when people are dying, the brain starts even dying. It's a biological brain, and a lot of people start getting hallucinations and stuff, and it's not true. But then there's a lot of theories people have, that it's true, when we don't know 100% if it's true or not. If that makes sense.
I think so. The vastness of the amount of variety between all of our lives. There's so many different stories and testimonies. What came to my mind initially was many of those, and I think you've spoken about it, the near-death experiences. There's a lot of testimonies that people offer that once they stop breathing, the brain stops its activity, and they're still returning with experiences and memories of phenomenon, right? I'm convinced that, well, I don't know. I don't know the right words for it. I've become comfortable with the idea of unity. We are all one. There really is no separation or even a difference between us that has much relevance. I believe we are all one, sharing this. It's like a combined hallucination to some degree.
I disagree. I mean, there's a lot of bad people out there, Jack. We can't. That to me is more like a new age talk.
Well, there's a lot of
Saying
bad
we're
people.
all one, we're all united, because not everyone is the same. I think wherever you feel is even God, that's your own. You came in yourself, and you leave on your own. So we can't just all be like one. We're all individual. We have our own mind and our own consciousness, and there's different routes to go to. There is not just that one route to go to.
Well, we all come from one source or one origin that generates life. But this source gives us individuals the choice or the free will ability to do whatever we want in our lives, at least within our limitations as a human being. So we have great control over what we can do in our lives, and that includes the control to be evil and do harm unto others. This is the gift of a loving God that a lot of people can't seem to wrap their minds around, because they think that if God was all good, that he would stop all evil. But since God is all good, he actually allows us, its children, to make choices of our own merit instead of just programming us to be some sort of hive mind that's part of this one being. And it's like, okay, they all worship me and they all follow my rule, and there's no individuality, there's no growth amongst them. They all just do as they're programmed. That's not what God wants. You know,
No,
God
there's a
has
lot of
free will
rules
of its
here
own.
already made that we're our choices. It's hard to make a choice when we're being programmed from the beginning through these rules. So there is no free will to do what we want, because we have to pay for the food that we eat and also shelter. Maybe
These are
animals have free will,
limitations
but we
that
don't.
mankind has put on itself. They don't have anything to do with God. They basically
Right.
come from the fact that humans have chose to create these systems that do these ways, and then people empower them. That's why they're here.
Yeah. It's people in the past have created traditions, and we were born into this world, and we were taught the traditions that other people created, and we were told this is how it is. If you want shelter, if you want food, you got to go pay for it. Well, that's one path. I mean, there's actually many ways to achieve goals, but in this society, by the time we were born, the governments, the politics, economics, and religions, those traditions have convinced people to be divided. Every household is
No, we've been
divided by a
programmed with
religion.
those traditions from the beginning, from high school. Like bullies, being a bully starts from high school, like young kids,
Before.
and now so it's just a continuation, and it's you just become like the worst kind of demon as time goes on because of how ugly this place really is.
Well,
I disagree.
when you say from the beginning, you don't really mean from the very beginning. You just mean from the beginning of our lives as an individual.
When we come in
Because
our
there was a
bodies,
time,
yes, when we
I'm
come
just
in our bodies here.
right, but there was a time on this earth when this was not the way. There was a
You
time
you
when
talk
people
like
were
you've been
inbound.
in that lifetime. You don't know for 100% sure. Like that's the thing. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you,
Well,
but
I have a pretty good idea from looking at history. That's about all we can do, right? And that there was a time before the
and we all
first
know
cities
history has
came
been
into
lied
being.
to.
I
Sorry.
know history is definitely full of lies, and we have to take it with a grain of salt because it's been presented by the victors, as they say, the victors of war who want to
Yeah,
dominate everyone else. But based on
yeah,
what they are saying, what really created all this division and all this materialist mindset was when they created the first cities in Mesopotamia, and then the ruling class who basically made these cities and was in charge of them, they created a mythology to justify the fact that they were the ones ruling the city, and they basically created an illusion of dependency on the workers. But in reality, it's actually the rulers of the city who are dependent on the workers, not the other
yeah.
way around, right? So while we have all this programming, we have the ability to overcome it, but it takes a lot of
Yes.
work to and self-examination.
Hey, Dominic, thank you. And that's kind of where I did want to press back on what you were saying, Callie, with the idea that it's only a downward descent. Because the reality is we have been given answers from those in the past and through our own cognition, right? Through our own ability to discern, um, we can heal. And this is what I'm seeing in the world of today, right? We're January of 2026. We're we're the front runners in time here on earth. We're leading we're leading humanity into the future, just as those before us led humanity to where we are. But we're living at a time where, thankfully, because of the advancements in technology, because of the advancements in so many different ways, right? There's many ways of healing. That's what my path, I feel truly kind of blessed about. I stumbled into discovering so many incredible teachers, teaching methods of healing, teaching methods of growth and understanding that it's not taught in our schools, but it's here. It's available. I think we're here, Dominic, to bring in the new kingdom. I believe humanity, the idea of being humane, I think that is going to swing around, and it will have to become more important for more and more of us.
Yeah, and I think it comes from within, right? When the individual has basically learned to be their own guide because they've developed principles that are in alignment with truth, because they live a life that does not generate harm, or they live a life that helps others grow into being an authentic self or an authentic being, rather than holding them back like so many people have been trained to do, and they don't even realize they're actually doing that, like by going out and voting and things like that. Like liberals, for example, they think that the government is there to help people, and that just could not be further from the truth.
Not
Right.
all of them. Not all of them. I mean, there's many Republicans, conservatives who will say they'll deny it, but they rely completely on the government. But actually, that reminds me something you said earlier about even in the older times, as societies had developed, those at the top are dependent upon the working class, right?
Yes.
These structures create codependency. That's the problem. Here in America, we're sold this illusion of the American dream where everyone is independent and free. No, we're not. We're completely obligated to register, to license, to apply, to obey, to conform. And then in our conformity, we create these codependent relationships where, while we complain about each other, the people are complaining about the government, we got the government complaining about the people. We're not separated, we're not independent of each other. But I do believe we can transform it all. And if we're not going to change the world, who will? I think
Absolutely, Jack. At the end of the day, I think one of the big tricks of religion has been people have been trained to wait on a savior, and people have just been waiting and waiting, and while they're waiting, the same systems of evil are still in place, and they're still reaping all this energy from all the people. So eventually, like I said, it will more than likely happen one day. It's just a matter of when. People will realize that that all these stories, they're actually about them as the individual, and they are their own savior, and then they can actually go out and create a world based in their own image and their imagination, rather than being led by people who don't have their best interest in mind, right? But one thing that I think is scary for a lot of people, especially since they've been trained to be so dependent, is the amount of responsibility that it would actually take to create a free world. Because people have to be responsible for their actions. They can't go and call the cops to resolve issues like they've been trained to. Now people have to come together and actually figure out how to solve problems themselves, or we're just going to obey the laws because that's what the government says it's good for us. Now they have to come together and figure out what's good for themselves on their own. And this is a big jump, but it is possible And with the proper education, it can happen.
I agree. Absolutely. It's, I think with what you said, it's a yes and, right? Because we need individual responsibility, and that no one can force anyone to be responsible for themselves but themselves, right? But in a truly just society, I believe we accept responsibility for each other as well. You know, my neighbor moves in, that's my responsibility. I now have an extension of what's my world. Um, and I do believe that, Dominic, what you said too, education is the key. If people had the, if people, not if, not if, when people are provided the information, the resources, the support, the examples, I'm confident that people can learn pretty much anything, you know? And especially if we're just talking about the basis of what we need people to learn is how to be honest, how to be authentic, how to be caring and trusting. They all go together. And this is where I see all these world problems going on in the world. I see all these problems going on in the world today. I'm listening to some of the rhetoric and some of the nonsense coming from the World Economic Forum. They're meeting this week, right? All this political theatrics going on there. Humanity, it's time for a change. And it's going to take people to make the change. I'm a people. You're a people. Let's see what we can do.
Yeah, absolutely. I haven't really been watching them. I don't keep up on the World Economic Forum, but
Good for you.
I got a pretty good idea of what they do anyway. So I'm pretty sure they're going to keep doing the same thing and not change much, right?
Pursuing profits, pursuing control. They believe that control is the way of order. And under the current system, those who have control also gain the profits. It's all it's all exploitation. However, assuming that we wanted to, and assuming that we could, well, that's not the direction I want to go. I would love to spend time publicly or privately strategizing, right? Discussing ways with, if we wanted to change the world, if we wanted to transform these laws, how could we do it? How could we rewrite the rules for society so that more people had access to the education and the support and the resources that they need in order to thrive? I know there's answers available.
Yeah. One thing I was going to say regarding education, certainly today, there's like a push towards I'm gonna call it anti-education, because there's so much slop and garbage on the internet that just clogs the algorithms that, it makes it hard for people to even educate in the first place. Because if you're just starting out, where do you even look? And you're seeing all these people like Nick Fuentes or Andrew Wilson or Destiny, and then you might go look down there, and then you get the idea that the way they debate people is actually solving or answering any answers, and it's not.
Yeah.
It's possible to come out of that, but I think for the average person, I'd imagine it's pretty difficult, right? So I think if you want to strategize, that might be a good place to start overcoming the counterintelligence and counter education.
See, and for that, the majority of these issues that I see, I keep coming back to. It'll take a group, right? The problems are larger than an individual can solve on their own. However, it's up to each of us as individuals to figure it out, right? To navigate through this counter information, the game of lies. There is a path, though, and it's more simple than I believe most people may realize. The path I'm referring to is the path of presence, right? Being present and aware, being mindful about the awareness, being mindful about the presence, because we can't control what's not in our hands, right? At this, until we are given the opportunity to influence or interact with others, there's not much we can do. So the practice I've been working on for myself, to keep my mind from getting agitated, to keep myself from being frustrated at all the hopelessness and all the unfairness of the world. The practice I've been working on is being present, right? Be with me here in the now so that I can be with God here in the now. And for me, God is that which is. It is the now. And it's the love that the now can offer. You doing okay, Dominic? I don't mean to put you on the spot, but you seem like you got a little melancholy or a little less.
No,
less fire.
I think that's just my demeanor.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, I don't know.
All right. Just seem more chill today, and maybe that's it. Maybe you're just more chill and relaxed.
Maybe because there's not other people on here to rile me up.
Yelling at you, insulting you, interrupting. Yeah. I don't know. I don't know, maybe you've answered the question already, but the idea of, is humanity meaningless?
Nothing is meaningless to Origin. Even the AI, even all this AI slop, all of it has its purpose within the grand tapestry of experience. And that I've used that term before on other panels. So the grand tapestry of experience, just basically the culmination of everything that has ever happened in this realm and all other realms that God has access to, which is everything, right? It's basically all the things that have ever happened, and God can look into that and say, this happened here at this coordinate, and we're part of that here and now. We're adding to that, right? So no, we're not worthless. Nothing is worthless at all in that sense.
I love that answer, because you're right. What'd you call it? The grand tapestry of existence? Is that what it
Experience. Existence. Yeah.
That is beautiful, because it really is. And we are that. You familiar with, maybe I've asked you before, the book Autobiography of a Yogi from Paramahansa Yogananda? The reason I
don't think I know that dude.
You do or do not?
I'm pretty sure I know who that is.
The book is one of my favorites, and it's one I I do recommend. Autobiography of a Yogi. It's his story of his pursuit to try and discover the divine and his relationship and what he learned. But there's some of what he describes in there, in that it was shown to him that we are all part of this cosmic light show, right? And it's in line with that cosmic tap. What was your words? Cosmic? Was it cosmic tapestry?
No. I call it the grand tapestry.
Grand tapestry.
That's what I called it. Yeah.
Yeah. It's beautiful, but it seems to line with that. Here's another man who digs into the esoteric as well. Welcome, Frank Monday. Good to see you, brother.
Blessings, gentlemen. Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Yeah, what's up, Frank?
Welcome back.
Excellent. Yeah, I missed the last couple of minutes. I was trying to log in, but I heard Dominator over there give the call for a little bit of more static in his life.
More press back, huh?
Yeah, and I
No,
thought, careful what you wish for, right?
I guess I did, huh?
Mm.
no. Hey, actually, this I think is a wonderful group of guys. I think we, for the most part, I think we resonate on many things. The value of being humane, first of all. Some good people here.
Yeah, absolutely. Where did you get to? Like I said, I missed the last minute or so, so I'm in the dark. Where are we at?
Where were we?
You were talking about that yogi.
Oh yeah, the grand tapestry of experience, and that reminded me of Yogananda's book and some of his description on the cosmic light show that we're a part of. And it is a tapestry. We're just these little, we flicker in and out of consciousness as people. We flicker in and out of our lives in the greater scope of time. We're just here for a moment, right? But this moment, it took billions of years to get us here. And this moment is the foundation for the future and all that will happen from here. That's humbling.
Another way I look at it is your life, even though you are immortal, is eternal, because the choices that you make in your life, they never change, and they stay that way forever. So in that
Once,
sense, your life is eternal.
Yeah,
once
and they
made.
resonate throughout time. That's right.
Yeah.
What was it?
But
I had
even when we die, it's not like that's the end. Dying, it's like the color dye. You just go from one light spectrum to the next.
yeah,
Well said.
one frequency to another. And I had a quote. I said something a long time ago. I'm trying to remember. Uh, the words we say, in our lives, they'll fade away. But the steps we take will echo down the halls of creation through eternity. What we do matters. That was the point. What we say will fade away, but what we do matters. And I like that. You make a choice, that choice is part of the record for eternity.
Yeah, it seems the world oftentimes they try to diminish us, and make it like we're not that important, right? You'll be forgotten to history. Well, it doesn't really matter, Like I think part of our purpose is to continue the life of life. We're the bridge between the past and the future. We're the bridge between heaven and earth. And from the spiritual perspective, I had an old master Nihua Ching, a guy I used to study with, and he said that people are under a hallucination that they're alone when really they're surrounded by spirits of ancestors and people who have passed and ascended masters and stuff. He said that even your thoughts resound like thunder in the spirit world. People think that they can engage in this secret depravity when in reality, man, it's all on full display to the reality, like the spiritual reality. And so it's an interesting thing to contemplate. I know people don't like the idea of a big white God sitting on a throne, watching over them. But there's some truth to that. There's some truth. We do matter, and our choices matter, our thoughts matter, our actions.
And that just kind of made me think of all the people who live their lives avoiding certain actions because they think they're going to get caught, right? Instead of, actually trying to do the right thing because it matters, when, as you described, it doesn't really matter because you're being watched anyway at all times, right? So,
Right.
no action is unnoticed.
It's hard. It is, from the material um, perspective, being raised without an awareness or consideration of the spiritual aspects, these concepts, they don't make sense. Because I remember when I was fixed in, I had no relationship with God. I had, not that I was aware of, right? I didn't have any intentional relationship with God. And I was just fixed on the world. The world, I thought the world made sense, even though I didn't like the world and I hated the world and I hated my place in the world. I thought it made sense to me. But the more I started looking into non-duality, looking into spirituality, and started actually, for me, one of the greatest parts that transformed me was bringing the aspect of consciousness into my consideration, realizing that every idea I had about the world was simply a pattern of thought, right? It was from my mind that I created all these ideas and meanings. But looking at the greater picture of spirituality, for me, everything kind of clicks together. It does make sense. Um, with God in the picture, the evolution or descent of mankind, whatever direction you want to see us, are we rising or falling? The path of time, it brought us to where we are. And if you can consider that everything happens for a reason, there's many reasons that we are, all of us. Holy cows.
Yeah, it's probably a little both, a little ascent, a little descent. One really good book, I don't know if either of you have experienced it, but Robert Anton Wilson's Prometheus Rising. It's a whole workbook on how to shift paradigms. And I think one of the big problems is that people become so entrenched in some of their paradigms. Like you started with a paradigm of non-spirituality, right? And now you've
Mhm.
shifted. And the more you shift through paradigms, the more malleable you become. You don't have to get stuck on necessarily a flat earth or a round earth. These perspectives, these paradigms, they should be a little more malleable, and you got to adapt to new incoming data. So I think it's important. That's one of the things I've always loved about you, Jack, is you really seem to have a knack to do that with each guest that comes in. You can allow space for them to express themselves, but at the same time, you put in some parameters and a little bit of pushback so that it doesn't go too far into La La Land or the circus. Bring us back to reality.
Thanks, Frank. Um, well, we are all here. Truly, we're all walking each other home. We're we're walking each other through this life, whether we are step in step, stride in stride, or whether we separate away from each other. The reality is the time that we're sharing is the time that we're sharing. We are all in this time together. And wouldn't that be an amazing gift for the future time? If the people who are alive today, in this time, in this year, what if we could find a way to transform the world, to convince the masses, people, stop fighting. Let's share the peace that Mother Earth has offered us.
Yeah, that's a great message, but a lot of people will point out that some generations like selling out the younger generations, like people like to go on about the boomers, you know. These people exist. It's just a matter of can we convince them, or are we going to have to wait for them to, pass away?
Yeah, and some of them don't try. Like, yeah, I know my parents' generation, my dad was a little older, a couple of decades older than my mom, but they had kind of almost like, given up. And I told them, we can't give up. The youth is here to reinvigorate the good fight, as it were. It doesn't have to be a fight. We don't have to, necessarily frame it that way. But yeah, I think those paradigm shifts. And you're right, a moment ago, there was a person, on the panel that was discussing the idea of the hell realm. And that really never has resonated with me because I view it through the lens of Taoism, which views the world as being filled with treasures, right?
Mm,
Heaven provides a certain amount of treasures like the stars and the celestial things. Earth has treasures like the five elements, you know, earth, wood, water, fire, these types of things. And then the human life also has these three treasures they talk about, the Jing, Qi, and Shen. And it's our duty in this lifetime to cultivate that as, you know, the human workshop of the subtle origin and to refine those energies within ourselves. I've always seen it as a, you know, people talk about it maybe being a school or something like that, but I just think of it, it's, you know, an alchemical process of refinement. Looks like you might have something on your mind, Jack.
no, no, I was just, I
Okay,
noticed,
we lost
Dom,
Dom, yeah.
yeah, that's all right.
Do we have
Um,
another guest?
no, just you and I for now. I appreciate it. These, what were those, the three terms you said within?
The ones
Um,
inside are called Jing, Qi, and Shen. Jing is like the motivating life force that recreates life and brings us into life. Some call it the Kundalini, this kind of thing. The Qi, of course, you know, is the life breath and the emotion energy, like the alchemical center energy, where in magical practice we keep Christ in the heart. And then Shen is like the mental, the spirit of the mind, right? Like the divine spark. So these three treasures are cultivated. You don't excessively abuse your sexual energy. You try to keep your emotions balanced, and this gives rise to clarity in thoughts and a more penetrating Shen, right? Like an immortal spirit that will live on. Jing, Qi, and Shen. Even Wikipedia has a really good breakdown on them. Jing is spelled Jing. Jing, Qi, Shen. Anyway, if you wanted to look into it a little bit. But yeah, from the Taoist perspective, like you like to do, you know, gentle breathing, meditation, that cultivates your chi and it starts the refinement process of not always, you know, becoming excessive into the world through, you know, whatever pointed out, addiction or bad habits and dissolution, but refining that upward into a clarity that brings you closer to God. I believe that's the way I interpret it.
that's the whole idea. And it's amazing how many of these concepts were around so long ago. The identification and the vocabulary, even, right? The language for what is within, what is without, how do we relate? Um, it really is mind blowing that more of this knowledge is not as common as it could be. The fact that knowledge has been kept from the masses, so much knowledge has been kept from the masses, and not just the relevant and important knowledge, but there's been so much misinformation fed to the masses as well. The world would not be in the state it was in if mankind legitimately loved the truth. A love for the truth shall set us free. Every single one of us, individually and collectively, if we can establish that love, that desire, create a relationship where we put the truth above ourselves, we stop placing ourselves above the truth. And if we put the truth above ourselves and we recognize and we nurture our individual relationship with the truth, ooh, baby.
Yeah, that's funny. You just quoted Master Ni without even knowing it. Dao is sometimes written DAO in the Chinese mainland style, but it's also written TAO in the Wade Giles pinyin system of Taiwan. And Master Ni translated TAO, the Tao, as the truth above ourselves, what you just exactly said. And he also said it's the Tao is the way, it's the truth among ourselves. So yeah, good magic, Jack.
Wow.
Really fun. And welcome back,
Thank
Dom.
you. Yeah. Welcome
Yeah,
back, Doc.
what happened? Now my camera's not even working.
We got the sound isn't as solid as it was either. We
We
got
can see
Jay
Tahuti.
back on.
Oh, well, I'm going to disconnect then.
Mhm.
You're welcome, Dominic. But thank you. Um, Frank, that makes my heart smile. I love it when I'm right by accident, you know,
Mm.
but the truth is true. And this has been my experience is I've somehow stumbled onto ideas and concepts, and then I'm finding verifications and confirmation in the world.
Well, I think you would really resonate with Master Need, kind of be an introductory type experience to a different form of Taoism. The only thing is, don't let Illumitami know if you read one of his books.
There'll be more ammo for my enemy to prove that I'm what? I'm not like him.
Yeah, and I could recommend a few good ones to start with, like Stepping Stones to Spiritual Success or Tao, the Subtle Universal Law. He's got about, I think he wrote about 80 books, so he was quite prolific back in the day. 60s, 70s, and 80s, I think was his most active time.
So not that long ago.
Yeah, he recently retired from life. I think he lived to about 114. I lived with him when he was in his late or early 90s. He was in his early 90s. I lived with him as his um apprentice, right? Like basically secretary, driver, and housekeeper.
Hey, very cool. So you had a chance to interact and learn?
Yeah. I lived with him for 2 years. I was like 20, 21, 22, 23 when I did that. I kind of dropped out of college and hung out with the master. It was like the crowning achievement of my youth.
Dude, that's actually pretty cool, Frank. You've lived a pretty cool journey yourself, haven't you?
Yeah, I started on the Chinese ticket when I was really young and thought that Kung Fu and Qigong and Chinese Tao was the way to find true magic in life. And I think somehow I was right, that it opened up a lot of doors. It took me coming back to like the idea of God and the Western mystery tradition to kind of make it go full circle. It wasn't until then that like I truly found peace again because I was wandering, a bit lost, the wandering Taoist, they call us. But yeah, it really takes the Lord to regain center.
Hmm. It's by the grace of the Most High, right? That we can connect with the truth that we need and the love that we desire. It is all by a magical, incredible gift that has been given to us all, this life. This existence is not what we think. It's not what we think it to be. That is ego. That's well observed. The part that thinks is the ego. The part that knows is the spirit. That's what I feel, for me at least. Um, so, Frank, regarding, did we get into these ideas? Humanity's relevance or meaningless?
No, we didn't. But yeah, we kind of touched on them a bit. I was saying, the world tries to program us to believe that, but I believe the opposite's true. I think God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten son, and we are children of the Father. And I think he really does care about us. He's just waiting for us to remember that he's there for us.
Yes. This thought just came up, and I'm not sure if it's clear yet. For God so loved the world, he gave his only begotten son. And so, say we wanted to return that for God. So, we love God so much that we're willing to give who we were, who we are, right? Not our son, but we give the identity of us that we created, that the world created with us. We give that identity of us away, the ego. It's the act of self crucifixion, right? Self eliminating the idea of the self, not the totality of the self, but if we eliminate the identity and the idea of ourself, then we create space for God's love to rule and to lead.
Careful, the fierce individualists out there are going to say you're a communist, right? But yeah, no, I resonate with it, Jack, and it's why, like Dom a moment ago, you can just discern truth, right? Like when his ideas came against the so-called, hell realm and stuff like that, just fell apart under the light of truth, And that's why I've always appreciated being here with you and engaging in the conversations because you do have enough wisdom and I think kindness and compassion in your heart that that can shine through that the ultimately the light does overcome the darkness and it's an
Thank
interplay back and forth, yeah, and you're welcome, man. I love your show. I've been tuning in since day one and I've never stopped.
you. And I
And I even
appreciate it.
look for you when you're gone. I'm like, where's Jack?
I know you do, man. You're a wonderful support, and I appreciate it. And I'm telling you, God crossed our paths for a reason. Our paths have crossed. All of us. Even those out there who tune in later that maybe I don't even know who you are. Our paths are crossing for a reason. And what are we going to do? I feel that God reveals everything we need to for us individually and collectively, and everything that is revealed to us, we get to choose. What are we going to do? I believe it's time for all of us to choose relevance, choose meaning. This is the lifetime to live. And if we want a better world, it's ours. It's been given to us. How do we want this world to be? How do we want it to improve? I want a world with more peace, more joy, more freedom, more love. I want a world where wisdom is appreciated and respected. I want a world where people are cared for, not because of what they can do, not because of what they can give, but because they are, where we just appreciate what life is, seeing ourselves in life and seeing ourselves with each other. I think we can. Um, I'm actually inclined to start wrapping up, Frank. This comment, though, Tarek, I'm not sure what you're implying because you're not making a lot of sense. I thought you said the other day, I can't keep doing the same over and over. It's the definition of insanity. True, no disagreement. But Jack, hang it up. This loop has to end. Don't know what you're talking about, man.
Well, I would push back against this in a couple of ways. Number one, you're not doing the same thing over and over again. You're dealing with a whole new set of equations and people.
Something happened to your audio, bud. Are you there, Frank?
Don't work, but you're trying to find the angles with which it can work, right? And we do loop. We should get up and do the same things somehow every day. We got to cultivate the grains and go out and help people. And you can't give up on those things. You gotta push forward with your message.
Amen. Frank, we're coming up
His
on 2
upcoming
hours. I'm sorry.
extravaganza, right? You got a couple of entries on the list this year, don't you, Jack? Spiritual teacher and
Oh yeah, that's right. I don't have it pulled up, but yeah, the award live streamer awards are scheduled for tomorrow night on NPC The Game. And yes, I'm in the running, I believe, for three. One of the categories already closed out. I was nominated for most educational. I got bumped out of that. I'm still in the running for most inspirational and most spiritual. I think those are the two categories I'm still in the running for.
well, you
But
definitely got my vote on both, man. Inspiration and spirit. You got a lot of both, man. And I actually made the cut. I'm in there for a truther. That really surprised me.
good, good for you, man. I'm glad to see. Hey, Frank, I am going to wrap it up. I'm going to keep it under the 2 hour mark. So,
Okay, blessings and love. I'll see you next time, Jack. Have a great day.
Frank, much love. Thank you for joining. Sincerely to Dominic, to Collie. Was there others today? To those who joined the panel, join the chat, join the live stream, whether in the present or later. Thank you, sincerely. We are all part of this experience here on Earth at this time. And the online part, the YouTube part, that's just one small part of my experience. And I hope it's an enjoyable part of your experience. And I appreciate you tuning in because there's lots of choices. There's lots of things you can do and might do with your time. The idea and the questions today regarding humanity's relevance, I tell you what, a greater life, I found this for myself, and it's the truth that it's been throughout history, said in many different ways, but a greater life is with God. Surrender yourself in the morning, right? Check in with yourself around noon, accept what's going on and be with what's going on. Rest with gratitude in the evening. In the evening, as your mind starts drifting away and you want to go off to sleep, allow your mind to reflect back to when you surrendered in the morning, to the facts that you accepted at noon, and fill yourself with gratitude. Gratitude feels good. And I tell you what, it is the path to know God, at least for myself. A greater life is with God. A love for the truth reveals the way. And the way is with love, baby. The way is with love. As Jesus said, he is the truth, the light, and the way. And what was his way? Love, baby. The commandment, love one another as I loved, as God loves. Let that love be with you. That is my goal. It is my hope and my goal to continue to humble me, to get Jack out of the way so that the love of God can come through. Because the more love we share, even though it may seem like we're not making a difference, right? Every little choice made by you, by me today, those little choices, they add up to lifetimes. And if we can keep making good choices, loving choices, kind choices, forgiving choices, if we can continue doing that, brothers and sisters, the relevance of humanity cannot be denied because goodness will just flow. I'm going to wrap it up there. Thank you again, sincerely, from me to all of you. Till next time, choose love, peace for everyone, and live without fear. God bless us all. Peace, and thank you.